Okay, so this is the new exhaust we're just launching for the Mini 1 and Mini Cooper from 2002 to 2006. So I will get a tape and measure the exhaust, but we've got a fairly large trim. It's the largest trim we think you can get on without actually changing the bumper. So you can see it fits nicely into the original bumper cutout that's on the right hand side of our Mini here. Okay, so we've got a polished tailpipe, okay, onto stainless steel fully welded silencer there, and that's hanging then on, if I just duck around here, so you've got your conventional rubbers. This is how the exhaust is mounted at the back, okay, so it hangs off the normal rubbers, and you've got this clamp that goes all the way around the silencer that holds that on. Okay, and then the next part, as we work down the exhaust, we've put a skid plate here. So a lot of exhausts just have the silencer going on. Now the problem is, if you go over a speed bump and it catches this edge, with the skid plate it slides over. Also, it gives a lot more strength to this joint in here, because obviously this has triangulated the joint, and where it's welded there and welded as well as the exhaust, it gives you a lot more strength. Now the other thing to note when we designed this exhaust was we tried to get the depth here that's visible from the back of the car as low as possible. Some, we felt you could see a lot of the silencer, so we've really got the silencer as slim as we could here on this design. Okay, right, so if we move down the exhaust, so we've only got one join in the system. So the system we sell is a two-piece. For postage we like to do it in one, but you can't post anything that long. So we've got one central clamp here in the middle of the tunnel. Okay, and we've actually welded it at the top, you can't see on here, so that this clamp will never sort of come loose and rattle around. It also makes it easy when you're assembling it, because you haven't got to hold the clamp in place, okay? And then if we come down the exhaust, so if you're changing the exhaust, you'll need to remove this under tray here, which is just held in with these bolts, and that carries these middle rubber mounts, you can see here, which just locate onto this plate. So this is relatively easy to remove just on a set of car ramps. And then that takes us to the front. So here you've got the catalytic converter, which isn't part of the exhaust, and here you can see it started to discolour the exhaust. We've had this on for a week now, and we supply a new gasket for this joint here. We also supply the bolts, new bolts, so to take it off is fairly easy. You've just got to undo those bolts and release it from the hangers. But that's the exhaust. What we'll do now is we'll go for a little bit of a run outside, so you can try and get an idea of the tone of the exhaust. Okay, so here we are now. We're out from the ramp, so we'll just get another look at how it sits. So you can see it doesn't stick out too far. We've really tried to get it just right so you can notice it, but you're not going to bang your shin on it every time. And as you can see, it sits in there nicely. We've got a little bit of the silencer, but we think that that's class leading in terms of how much silencer is visible. We really have tried to get that as low as possible, and certainly if you're driving behind or walking behind the car, it's barely visible. So right, well, I don't know how this is going to work on the old video. If I give the camera to Tom, and let's see if we can just do some basic starting the car and getting an idea of what it sounds like. Okay, we'll try and do a video in the car to give you an idea of how it drives and what it sounds like in the car. So we've turned off the stereo and the fan and everything. So here we go. So it's fairly quiet in the car. It's not too bad, but there's a little bit more. Right. So yeah, it certainly goes okay with the new exhaust on, but it's not too quiet, it's not too drony, especially on long runs. If you're just driving it sensibly, it's quite nice, but if you put your foot down, we'll just pull out of this junction here, give it one more rev again. Now if we drive it sensibly, the road noise along here is as much as the exhaust note, so there we go. So that's our little exhaust demonstration video finished.